Well, it's the close of the day. I'm looking for some follow through here on the euro. Actually don't have the 10 pip grid on this one, but I have the infamous moving average. 21 period, which is a Fibonacci number, but it's a simple moving average because I'm simpleton. Simpler the better. Look at this beautiful entry on the simple moving average now. Had you babysat this and pulled the trigger here, you have a winner. You buy if it's down. Buy right there. Buy right there. On the 4-hour chart, you're fucked. So on the 4-hour chart, you need to have a 5-period moving average. See? Insert 5-period moving average. So this is what I think about moving averages: that the longer the time frame, the shorter the moving average. So as far as settings go, if you're on the daily chart with the no nonsense guy, you're going to want to have the 5-period moving average because you want to get on it. You want to get on that thing as fast as possible. And I'm going to use a slightly different color. Peach Puff. This is the gay moving average. I'm going to put this at 5. Peach Puff. Come here, Peach Puff. Now, Peach Puff's going to get you in. Lickety split. 21 on the daily. No. Just say no to 21. Laggy. I'm going to actually make this a better color because I think Peach Puff is a little bit... it's better than it looks. I'm going to go all in. Use my white privilege on that one. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this because I'm not going to do a crossover game. Because you're too late. Who's waiting for that fucking entry like that? Forex Hangout guy could wait for that entry. But I could not. I'd commit suicide before that. Uh-oh, we're missing some tools here. I have to do a little, gotta customize. No rectangle. The broker doesn't want you to see the area. That's how they roll. They keep you. That's the trick. Oh, I want to customize that. So, I want to put in what the broker doesn't want you to see is the Gann grid, Gann fan, Gann line. No. How about Fibonacci time? Has anybody dug into the Fibonacci time zones rabbit hole lately? Or how about Gib fan? I like how the no-nonsense Forex guy said there's a lot of indicators. There's a lot of tools also. See Johnny in the corner drooling, talking to himself. He was doing the Fib channel. Now look at him. He hasn't recovered. I'm going to go for the old rectangle. How about the Andrews Pitchfork guy? 3 of those running. I noticed the Forex Hangout guy was doing the... I guess you can do this channel thing. This... trend line projection, but gosh, the triangle, I'd stay away from that. That'll lead you down the Gartley Highway. I'm going to take the equidistant channel. That's what most people run. Trend line, horizontal line, vertical line, text. I delete text. Remove. Sorry. No deletion available. Get rid of that. The arrows. That's for sissies. Okay. Now, I have the time frame shift. I'm going to take the standard tools away. Or the... So here's as clean as it goes. And then we do have Fibonacci in case you have a fib attack. Let me see if I can do that Fibonacci thing. This is how the big boys do it. They go... I'll get this range. Here, I'm going to just force a trade out of it. I want to buy down here. There's the 423. So actually, I want to sell up here. This is how I'd use Fibonacci. I'm going to sell at 618 to 0. Would have probably stop at 0. I want to capture all these wicks like this, and then there are targets down here. Or the inversion would be, the better idea of fib is that when it starts to go choppy here, you're going to put the 0. Your stop is there. You're going to buy everything from 100 down, and you're going to get out at 4. So you're going to have 4 tickets. You're going to buy the 100. You're going to buy all the way down, and then you have an overlapping fib on top of that, like this. So imagine another order bank like this, another order bank like that. So you can capture all this stuff down here. Or are you going to do that same thing on the 5 minute? See, so the 5 minute, it's going to be like this. You're going to try to get this. You're going to buy at the 100. You're going to buy to the 618. You're going to buy all that shit with a stop at 0. See, your stop might be below here. But if I was going to use Fibonacci, I could have made my 423 target by buying at the 618 with a stop at 0. See, so to me it looks like tickets. I see each of those as an entry. So Fibonacci, that's how I would use it. I'm trying to buy in a compressed area down here with a tight stop to make the expansion. I only make it to the 2618 here. But if there's a different order bank, you got to imagine you can press a button, you can write a script that goes like this, right? Then you write a script that goes like that. Then you write a script that goes. Then you have one that's just like psycho. It's trying to make 10 pips. Right? You're just like, okay, I'll buy the pullback here. This is how I use Fibonacci. There's no fucking way I'm going to use it in the terms that people use it with. Like, they're looking at this giant structure and they're like, okay, see down here. I'm like, yeah, but what about this shit right here? What about right in front of you right now? Like, are you buying that? Are you buying here with a stop at 0 and you're going to scale out on the fibs? That's all I'm saying. Here I'm running a dual screen method here. So one instrument, I don't have a delete all objects, so we're stuck with that fib thing. I'll just drag it down here. So if I'm looking at the dailies here and I go total zoom in, full retard zoom in, like beyond zoom. Where's my zoom keys? Oh, shit. I can't remember where those are at. This is a new broker, so chart zoom in, right? Here we go. So in the cleanest sense of the world, this is a doji. There's no getting around this, okay? There's no really, and it's also a small doji. The wick to wick, right? So just from a lug head trade plan, there is this trailing demand zone behind this, and then when we fill, it's like a big gust of wind, right? So, I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't have the 10 pip grid on this broker though. I'm using the Fibonacci, so that's just as good, right? Looks like the euro's going to leave the station here. Oddly, the dollar yen's going up. Here we go. So we're going to make that bum run on the 5 minute chart. We just took off here. I got the 5 minute in the rear view mirror. I got the dailies. I can put the weeklies in the rear view mirror here too. So we're coming up on the infamous 21 moving average. I say the 5's better on the, even on the 5 minute chart, it's better, right? This is the baseline. Baseline's yellow, but like, I'm just going to get in, you know? I mean, this 5 minute doji, I'm just going to get in, I guess. And I trade with a tighter stop. Looks like it's going to break out. And so window wise, we are in the seller's window right now. They scalped that already and they're up on the trade, right? They're probably out. And I'm not seeing the ask on here. This is a new broker, so I don't have this stuff turned on. It says show ask. Anyways. Also, with this, I can, I don't like this really steep tick chart, so I'm going to open up the navigator and use this to adjust the depth of the like I want it to look a certain way, you know. Otherwise I can't. Like if it's really steep, I'm like, what the fuck? So here's the retest area, this top. If this top becomes the bottom on the tick chart, of course everybody's already sold into this like new exciting high into the on the 5 minute guys. That scalp and that probably sellers are coming in now, so depending on how big your long or short, you know, is going to depend on how you go on this trade, I guess. I guess I already have my thing up here. Wait a second. I'm actually not logged into the site. I don't even know if I'm streaming, but I can't see any comments because I somehow closed down the... I guess that doesn't need to be open. Okay. I assume it's streaming. This beta version of YouTube's driving me crazy, forcing me to use it and stuff. Making my stuff in there. Okay. Technology. So dollar yen and the other ones are rising at the same time right now, oddly enough. Well, I guess I'm not that emotional about it, you know. You want to see me scream? I don't know, when I'm losing, I don't really get, like, pissed off. I just kind of sit there and go, okay. So it's going to be like that, huh? Like, seriously, if I am in this trade, though not as heavy as this trade. I'm not up $18,000, you know. But this trade I talked about in the stream on the 4-hour chart, and I was kind of making fun of the 21. I know exactly when the stream was. So right here I started streaming there, and you know I bought that. Now, if you're gonna buy this thing in a structure zone here, this top, so I buy in. Oh, this is not a good color. So I buy this. I got the wrong tools here. This. No, I think I've traded. I'm trading real money sometimes simultaneously with this fake money, and you want to see a guy who's interesting, who's emotionless. I've never seen a guy trade as big as this guy. Anybody familiar with this Apari guy? I don't know how he knew I was watching him or something, and he sent me an invite for the 6th of June. This guy is like, I call him the Amish trader. Let me show you this guy. He's got some honeybee tribe thing. It's bizarre. Here, I'll show you guys. Apari Fund. Let me see if I can get to his, where he's scalping this thing. He's got about, God, if I can find it where he's pretty nonchalant. So I guess I'm like this guy, kind of like him, just like, okay, that's what's going on. I'm underwater. Here's a live trading. He's got some goofball Fibonacci shit on here, but it's watching him trade that I can find the one where he's trading the news and shit. Oh damn. Looking for it here. It's got RSI in here. Alligator indicator. Oh my god. Now I think it's his execution that somehow he's making money because he just kind of fearlessly trades it, I suppose. I mean, could you tell Forex Hangout guy was trading last night real money? Not really. I mean, the other guy was trading real money. I wasn't in those trades because I was in the euro at the time. I was holding the euro. But I wasn't going to trade the dollar yen with those guys because I just don't want to see another thing on my account. If I'm in one trade, I don't really trade the dollar yen, although I could. I'm trading it on my tablet right now. In a demo mode, actually. Because I'm running buy limits in the dollar yen right now. I'm buying the pullback here. So this is a real trade for me. Like this account, I'm up $300. It was a $1,000 risk. I was telling the Forex Hangout guy that I'm risking $1,000 on this account. So to me, this is a real thing. It's a real thing, man. Like I ain't playing around. I mean, really, man. So, no, I've done streams where, trust me, I'm buying into this thing and I'm yelling at people going, fuck you. I'm sure people have heard me flip out. There was some guy that was going, you're really buying into this plunge here? So I was buying into like this thing, you know? And I go, yeah, I'm buying into that. So what the fuck, you know? And if you're going to accumulate everything below this floor, I talked about this last night in the dollar yen, your first exit was here. I already marked that off. So we came up in that window and then we plucked this window off. But if you're the guy that's going to ride this for, it's a 30-minute chart. If you ride that for 2 hours down and make that trade, which that was the Forex Hangout guy's trade. As soon as we come up to here, sellers come in because don't forget we're in a downtrend, right? But it wouldn't matter. If you couldn't claim downtrend on that, okay, I got you. But there's another guy coming in and he stop hunts that half-hour wick there. I'm just saying, imagine there's a guy that keeps on moving his stop back as he buys into this. I don't know if anybody's done that trade. Or you have a stop here and you're long. Okay, you think it's going up. You're like, look at this. It's so beautiful. But as they come back, if you move a trailing stop to protect your position, they're going to crush it and then they're going to rip it. So as this thing walks down, right? How you feel about that? So has anybody ever woke up and be like, you know what? I'm actually stopped out of that thing. Because on the half-hour train, it's up, down, up, down, up, down at an angle. I get that it's turning around and kind of going in an uptrend now. But this chop underneath this window here, right? Anything under here, this chop action, was that tradable? Yeah, I guess if you want to be a hustler, you're going to get in, you're going to get out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, and then you could say, well, we can draw our first trend line, for the love of Pete, and here's where we're going to start walking out of the hole. But we know there's sellers up here. If we're long, we probably got to get out of something here. We could have got out of the whole fucking thing in this window because we know that window exists. We could have dumped the whole fucking thing there because that's a trap. It's either liquidity trap or there's people that are running the 1 hour. So it fits in with the 1 hour. There's no time frame issues. To make this make sense, I would scrunch it down. Okay, look at this. It's a very dramatic window here because it includes that other wick on the 15. But when you go to the 5, it starts to get a little ridiculous, right? But you can still see it. There's a big gap here. So when we get up there, the pullback is amazing. Right here. The pullback off of this was worth that. See, now that is a different visual perspective than if I go to the 1 hour and look for rooftops, higher highs on the 1 hour, right? It's a whole different story. In here, you can see I marked off the same zones, but they're taller, they're riskier. That's a 10 pip grid there. So my question is, would you freak out if you lost $50 or would you freak out if you lost 5,000? you really got to find out what your emotional threshold for pain is, I suppose. Now, I don't mind being $20 underwater as I'm accumulated position that's worth at least 40. And that's not going to bother me. But if I'm down $500, $1,000, see, Forex Hangout guy can be down $1,000. To me, that would be utterly, that's like, I would think I made a mistake somehow because I should only be down 300. If he's down 1,000, I only want to be down 300, right? And then I want to be up 1,000 from the 300. But if he's up 1,000 from risking 1,000, okay, he's got a bunch of money that he can afford to kind of be a little bit give the market room here. So I can actually, I'm going to buy this on limits now as this drops along the euro with real money right now. So I am in this dollar, this euro. I'm trading this retracement, swing trading it now. I scalped the bottom of that and made up for any kind of losses on that bottom smash down. Like, look at this euro on the daily. I'm going to zoom in. So really, I think perspective is the big deal. So here's my, I went flat here, and then I just bought on limits as it pulled back, and I'm rebuilding my position, I guess you could say. In other words, I cash out here, and then I'm buying this pullback. So for me, it's all about going long. So at the end of the day, we're coming into Asia. I'm looking for this to keep going up, and then I have to get out at the big exit door is going to be here for me, and I would definitely sell on that now that I got some sell limits running that lasts like 3 hours up in here, just scattered up in that window. So I think that'd be a final assault, and if we can stay inside this rectangle, we punched up in it, breakout pullback confirmation people, their breakout pullback point I would say would be this. We kind of dipped underneath. The bigger structure on the 4 hour is going to be this last known high. We didn't quite pull back to that, kind of just nicked it a little bit. So that's why when this went down, I had to pull the trigger at the market when it dropped real hard here, and then the trick was to come in and try to capture that. But now I'm kind of chasing it on the I don't know, it's a double bottom on the 1 hour, but it's a nice pullback on the 4. But on the half hour, here's where I scalped it, and then I reloaded here. So I always have a scalp on deck. Like, I'm always going to risk 6 to make 12, and I got the whole array on the tablet, so I'm not going to be able to pull the trigger here for you. But just imagine that I am buying the pullbacks either at the market as it drops, or I have limits that are coming in underneath that to kind of catch a falling knife, but a shallow falling knife, right? So we know this is a trap here, and after, if we're not going to sell that, can we get on the long train with limits scattered down here? Yes, I believe it is possible to do that trade. We never fill this slot here. If you have hard hand placed limits here, some big giant fucking position, they never fill, because what happens is it just does a retest. You have to be willing to buy, and I'm willing to do it, to buy here as it plummets and kind of guarantee a fill, even though I'm not short into that. I don't have to be. Same thing here. Are you willing to buy this deep discount as they come back and retest the Asian low? Yes. I did have a few sells here that got triggered, but not many. So I'm running the sell limits now that are 20, 40 pips. I'm just going to focus on a 50 pip range. And my tickets are going to evaporate in about 6 hours. That's about the limit. I think that's, if I'm going to constantly, well, every 4 hours or every day, I'm going to look at the market and be like, okay, what kind of tickets can I punch here now? As this thing went creaming up here, I said, you got to be careful not to sell into this too hard, because why is this thing crushing it like a fucking rape date? Well, if you look at the daily, it would tell you, right? Why is that such a brutal crush? Because once it got above this level is when the wheels came off. This precise level, right? That is it. That is why that crushed so hard, because it took that out. And it took this out. It just made mincemeat of that. Boom. It's just so harsh. And it just clears house all the way to this. It's got to get there in a hurry. And where is the kickoff point? I guess this is your first pivot where you get your breakout. Here's where you deny this low. You just destroy it. Yes, you could have drawn a trend line here and said, I'm going to get into the trend line break. Or were you looking at this pressure building up in this hole and you're going to say, I'm just going to go fucking super down deep. I'm going to buy the retest of this price here, just for irregardless. 50 pips, stacking up, zigzags, divergence has got to be happening in here. Every time it zigzags, every time there's a 2 to 5 period zigzag, something's up. We're either accumulating or distributing. Like here's a small distribution zigzag before we go down lower. And look at this. It's all wicky here, right? It's a wicky situation and it's punching. It wants to punch. I think it's going to punch to 130, 113. But right now, if you made 400% of your account in this move, you can come in and just trade lightly, selling off the top of this last night for a couple pips for the feeling of, that's another feeling I'm not used to, is selling, even though I know it makes money. So I just focus on that as being my exit if I'm long though. So I know where the other guy's trades at. I know what's going on. It's just that to implement a buying situation right now, I'm buying on limits on the demo tablet here, this drop here. But see how the dollar and the yen and the euro to the dollar can move in concert, kind of clunking along upwardly. And you can make the argument, well, it shouldn't be happening because the dollar's weak. Well, it's apparently another thing I think is going on here is Asia session. Your Asian, it's the dollar being carried around the planet, so to speak, even in a flat Earth model. Back and forth, I guess. In flat Earth, if anybody's a flat earther, it's going to be back and forth instead of in a circle. The money's going around a circle on the planet. It's like the attack or the non-attack of the dollar. It's kind of an easy way to see, well, why is this wave coming in? Well, they're going to hand it off to the next country and they're going to abuse the dollar. Dollar is the most manipulated currency. That dollar, it's so funny that the No Nonsense Forex guy says it's a bad thing that everybody's trading the dollar back and forth. Like somehow that's a bad thing that you have a central focused instrument that you're trading against. It's the dollar. And now you can see the yen and you can see the euro by themselves in a way now, right? Or you run the euro to the yen. If you want to see the triangulation of currencies and correlations, then you're going to go dollar yen, euro to the dollar, right? I used to do that all the time. I had those three up there. At that time, I didn't have this kind of deep order banks to run it like that, so I couldn't really take advantage of it. But now that I look at it, that would be if you had a wider tablet maybe. Or when you hold the tablet horizontally, you can see a nice 3 correlations there. And you can kind of see what's happening. And that the triangle is completed by the euro versus yen. So it's euro to the dollar, dollar to the yen, euro to the yen. And that's a tight-knit situation where there should be correlation there. Although it's not perfect because it's still a separate thing. Even though you could try to make that, at least you've got that on your, but see here that the dollar's going up and the euro's going up against the dollar. So it's just kind of like, maybe there's a synthetic chart you could build between that. And I think the euro to the yen is the synthetic, or it's some kind of, because I don't know any other way to do it, and you're stuck with the fact that they decided to make the euro the starting thing, the base. Same thing with in the British pound, they made that the base. So last night we were talking about the British pound for a second, this dollar, this 1 hour chart. And I figured this was a flag we were going to pop north. We pop north, we come up here and we grab all these tickets up here. And where do we really going to get in heavy is in this slot right here in the 10 pip grid here. And all the way to this, you'd have to be willing to sell from that ledge on the 1 hour all the way up into that hole. And then if you did that with the pending, and hopefully you're going to do the same thing here. You're going to buy this wick to wick after that explosion, right? Break out, pull back, vicious stomping here. You could have bought that. You could have traded either direction on that. Range trader's dream. Is it going up in the end? Yes. But if you bought here on this breakout and then you put your stop here underneath, they raped you. I'm just saying, from a goober trade plan, that is going to be a problem. Let me go back to the dashboard here, I guess. So, okay, so the stop loss. Well, let me go trade this with the scripts then if you're going to do that. So here I'm going to do, since there's money in the account, what I could do is I could go flat, take profits, but I'm just going to trade with the available margin. I've got $1,000 free margin as if I got a brand new account at 1,000. So I'm just going to let this trade in the background, and I'm going to place little baby. They're inside that hightail site, but I'm going to open up the. So I'm going to trade here and show you that you don't have to risk the whole world here to trade. On the tab, what this is what I'm running, so to speak, is I'm going to buy 10 pips deep. I don't think this is going to fill, but 10 pips deep with a 15 pip stop is a 2K. It's going to put 2 tickets in 10 pips apart on a 10 pip grid for 1 hour. Oh, I got to turn on the, robot here. So with the allow automated trading. So, okay. And, let's do that again. So if I double click this, it's going to put in 10 pips apart, right? This is 13 pips apart, or 13 pips deep, 10 pips apart. I'm double clicking orders that last for 15 minutes, So if the news came out, I'd be like, all right, now it may be a little bit unbelievable, but I actually wrote like about 1,000 of these. So I can just go like this. So it looks like we're dropping. Now these are 15 minutes. It'd probably be hard to fill these. You'd have to drop the 1 hours at this time of day. And I can make a, okay, here's a very tight one. What do I got set? So that's not very risky, I don't think. Those are going to delete themselves in 15 minutes. Here's a 1 hour, here's a 12-hour risk. So I'm going to buy here on limits, and I'm going to sell above this on limits. For 12 hours, I'm going to sell the top of that. We got to get there in 12 hours. British pound. Got to get there 12 hours. So here it would be, I'm going to sell into this in a 45 pip range above that round number. For 12 hours, I got that whole order bank in there. We got to get up into this window in 12 hours. So I'm actually setting up my own auction up there. Here's like, it's going to look like this. I'll put it dense. I'll wait for that to come in. Broker's offline or something. I know, because he doesn't want to reveal his algorithm. You should see the guys in the Discord trying to... Well, actually, the tight stops and wide stops, here's the thing. If I put in this big monster order here, which I can't do, this broker let me abuse them since it's a demo account. Another thing is that I can't do this stuff on a real account. It would just... These are for demonstration purposes, because I'm not going to... I'm only allowed so many tickets in some of these accounts, and I can't put this many tickets in for 12 hours. It wouldn't make sense, but this is an 8 pip stop to make 16 on this rack, and a 7. This is logarithmic too. It's going to come in like martingale up here. Now, this might be acceptable, This is not a bad placement, but if you're risking $8. Do you have $8? I guess that's what I'm asking. Do you have $13 to make $23 in a 12 pip range? So I'm going to delete these objects when I put the new ticket in. 45 pip range right here. So this is a set it and forget it. Linear, it's going to get in every like 5 pips, I think there. Same thing on the top side, up here. The nice thing about these, if you put them above their sell limits, below their buy limits, so you can just kind of cruise around here. Now look at this, is probably going to engulf the dollar. The Australian dollar is probably going to engulf as the euro goes up. And I want to sell in this slot here. So I pick that slot. I look for a really long lasting order, like a 12-hour. Okay, here's a scalp. 8 hours. I'm going to put a scalp right there in that pocket. And I'm asking it to get up there in 8 hours into this window. This is risking $3 to make $5. 9 pips stop on a 3K. Roughly 3 to make 5. I try to put the spread in there. I wish this was like a 12-hour ticket. Let me see if I have some daily drops. Now, if I go to the daily single drops. Okay, now this is really low risk trading here. Look at this, is a single drop of a 1K, 25 pips stop to make 50. It's a buy only drop. I'm going to put it right there. So what I'm saying is that if you think it's coming down here, then I would use various stops. Here's a 12 pip stop. Here's a 25 pip stop because I want to retain some of this position. Like I do think this is a good place to buy. But I'm never going to use a hard stop because all my testing has said that soft stops and soft take profits are going to soften the drawdown and increase the take profits because, okay, if you try to catch a falling knife here, if I do this trade over and over again, the account's going to go flat, right? So as it comes zipping down, if it catches one of these balls, I know that I'm risking 12 pips all day long here. Also, if I wanted to do a goober trade right now with this script, because these drops are actually different than the other ones I just dropped. So if I go to the half-hour chart and I want to do a goober breakout, it's going to look like this. This turns into a buy stop. These drops that are called just drops, so you have to kind of dig through all that script stuff. But see, these are sells. So if I wanted to sell that with 100 fucking pip stop, which I don't think that's, okay, that's a $10 risk. I'd risk $10 if I sold here, right? But if I sell here on a stop, I'm going to do a confirmation sell. So here I have these are all $10. Everything I drop here is risking $10. So it's flat risk. This is like what No Nonsense Forex guy is doing. He's doing flat risk. And all he has to do is take one of these tickets. And somebody told me that if I do this at Oanda, because these are different size, this is an 8K with a 13 pip stop, and we're still risking the same amount of money. I'm trying to make 50 pips. So these are very hardcore, daily spelled out trades. Now, if you want to play like catch a falling knife on the 15-minute chart, that's a different game. It's a whole different game. Or stop a rocketing rocket, you know. These are all different games, you know. So yeah, you would if you orders, you got to be aware of the fact that if you drop your orders that last for more than, okay, yeah, if they fill during that spread, but if I'm going to do a 25 pip stop, the spread isn't going to really matter. So you do have to think about all that. Of course, you know, when you're doing this kind of trading, you're not going to survive on a maybe the euro dollar, but not on the exotic pairs. You're never going to survive the rollover swap at 5 or just the 5 p.m. brokers when they close down and let go and the spread gets wide, because right now the guppy is at 1.6 here. It's just going to get worse as you come near 5 p.m. Now, if you want to wait till like a No Nonsense Forex guy, he waits till 140 or something. Oh, just before stocks close, 3:40 Eastern Standard Time, 3:40. So you could drop everything there. Depending on the volatility of the market. Now here, this looks like the British pound's going to go rocketing north. So I'd be very careful selling the very tippy top of this, because the best sell is going to be as you approach the top of that, and the spread's really not going to matter. So here I could pepper inside of this also. Just because I drop those limit drops doesn't mean I can't go like this and do a 6K. If I put all my daily stuff kind of peppered along the way here, these are dedicated sells. If I put it down here, I would be careful. I would never do this trade in my life. Put a sell stop down here. I know people do this trade, but I'm saying I would never trade like that. I'm never going to put a sell stop here. So the one kind of danger here is that if you're not paying attention, you just think that this is a buy limit you're placing down here. That's a sell stop. I'd feel like a trapped idiot. Like, oh, really? I'm going to put a sell stop on this fractal and get caught in a market maker stop run, because if they run the stops, I'm the kind of guy that's buying on here on limits, right? I'm just saying, I'm not saying that wouldn't be a winning trade. I think it's as dumb as putting a buy stop here. Like, I'm just going to get the fuck in now. Like, if I think that I'll put a buy, like, dude, I'm just going to get in now. Like, are you kidding me? I should have been in here, and I feel like I'm chasing if I buy now, but what I'm going to do is, to make it okay, I'm going to put sell limits up here and just imagine I'm long. So here also the buy stop, I put the Goober buy stop in here. And you know what? That might be a winning trade, because I think we're breaking into a vacuum right now. Right? But I'm not going to put a buy stop on this fractal. I can tell you that much, because this is where the sellers are going to come in. At least for the scalp. So we could get annihilated there, I'm just saying. Yeah, so cables, let me see that cable thing. So I think the big debate's going to be, what happens if we, well, maybe take to the end of the week to come out challenge this thing. But right now, I think the sellers on the daily, people that are selling this supply zone, I'm just going to say, or demand zone up here, they're already up in the trade. They're maybe already out. So I try to get an idea of what they're thinking, and I actually like that being there with the charts are smaller. So let me go back to, I kind of like this where you're only allowed to see so far back. Now, right here, I'm going to fix this at 10 pips, and then I'm going to go to the time frame that's tradable, and I got to scrunch this down to even see the trade. So to me, structurally, the only trade was available here was, if you consider this to be a big debate zone or supply zone. Now I am kind of like going back to this as a price instead of the, like I said before, the only thing that matters to the market now are these kind of wicks, you know. But at the time when this came back, you know, this was the only place to buy. The only place to buy in limits was, okay, after you break out of that, once it's clear this price, that's gone, right? It's rated this area. Okay, that doesn't exist. So if you didn't buy this crush into here, or you bought this kind of backlash, you could have also sold into that, and then you knew you kind of had to get out of something as it came back to this double top in time. So the 1 hour chart's kind of like faithful in a way. You know, it's kind of a nice, firm, easy 24 bars. I'd be very afraid to buy it here, because I feel like, well, I'd just be chasing out. I kind of missed my entry here on the stop hunt of this wick, and just buying this top and kind of overpaying, I guess, as I crushed it down deeper. But if I consider that, coming back to here, right? So it depends how long you're going to be in the trade too, because these are like 1 hour trades almost. Like, if you sold that and you didn't get out down here, you probably feel like an idiot right now. Like, say if you got a nice great entry and you didn't take something off, at least 10 pips, you could have made 20 off that top. That is a round number. And so you're saying 2740. Okay, so 2740 is up here. Very easy to find. So it's easy to talk in 10 pip grid also, because people do round it off, and like, it's kind of funny, because I mean, I'm going to give it a 10 pip window of entry. Definitely here. Anything there on the way to there. On the 4 hour chart, I can see more of the situation that what I'd be freaked out about is, I think that this is going to be one of those zones that it just punches through, right? I mean, it's like anybody that's scalped off of that thing is already up. Now, if they haven't taken profits, they're going to be like, yikes. So I think if you watch the playback of the market, you'll see this common situation where they're going to punish this thing to the north, possibly very quick and dirty into the close, and then actually take out the high from last week. And then we're going to go after this high, this midweek high. Everybody's getting the fuck out there and going the other way for some kind of pippage. So it's reaching up into this hole. I'm going to put my sell limits at different prices up here. Also, I can just hit a key that closes all open and pendings. I can bail on all these trade plans. It actually kind of gives up a lot of work I've done, I suppose. I've asked before, maybe answered, didn't catch using the 4-hour for trade decision. Not all platforms are the same. Yeah, I know that is one of those things. But this is the 5 p.m. classic close of the brokers. And yeah, I think that actually this other one is a different time frame on the 4-hour. I know for sure this one is out of a different country. So if I try to do, I can see it in the line chart actually. Look at the line chart here of the euro dollar. We have a double top on this 4-hour chart, and I don't think we have that on the other one. So yeah, it definitely would if you're doing closing prices on RSI. Not so much the range because, well, the range also, but these kind of wick tops. At some point, one of those 4-hour charts is going to wick out. I mean, that is a really true price, the actual high, but like the high of the day has to be the same. I would say almost across them, but let me go back to the other chart. I'm just going to do a line chart of the, what time frame was that? 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart. I'm going to see if I have a double top on this. So we had a 1, 2, 3, 4. We had like this double bottom here on this 4-hour chart. I think the other one is a different time zone though. And you could get 4 brokers actually. You could just run demos on those if you really wanted to get the ultimate entry. You know, because then you could just be like, oh, look at the chart here. It's beautiful. No, it looks like the same here. Here's the bottom become a top before the collapse. No, this exact same chart. So this is 5 p.m. Okay, now we're going up into my sell limits. I'm long into this rally into Asia. I think we're going to go after that new highs in Asia. Dollar yen's pulling back. So I'm testing out my 5 pip deep limits now. And this demo here, I'm actually not even doing the right kind of thing. I'm just buying on limits here, you know. Could have cashed out in that window, but I didn't. So there's another thing. This is the seller's window, and I didn't get out there, so I'm going to buy this on limits. Manual trading, risking the whole account. With the other one, I'm actually trading. Actually, I'm trading with stops on the other tickets inside this account. So selling in limits as this goes up, and if it was real money, I would dump out of the yen, and then I would just get into this thing fresh. Let's see here. So if you kind of know for a whole day long, if you don't want to come back and revisit launching all these orders because it's such a pain in the ass, then you're going to pick like, here's a 50 pip stop. I would make this last all day, and I just throw it up here. It's just a monster sell thing. And just, you could layer these up, you know. You put a huge sell window there. Same thing here. I think this is going to go roaring into this. So anything above there. Now, if I did trade the whole account with stops, I could do that also. if you know how much you're risking, $50 here, you know, if that whole thing fills and gets blown out. So the market has to drop. Wherever you drop this, you actually, on this one, you're more precise. You can actually buy this area and say, I'm going to buy that, right? I'm going to buy this. All those other tickets don't have stops. I could take all my profits right now and just come back in with these and just go to sleep. I wouldn't even care. They might fill half those tickets. I know that if I drop too many of these, that if everything fills, let's blow the account up. That's all. I could just keep selling into this on the top. Now be careful if you start with the real money, because if you just start doing this, like I did one night, broker's going to be like, what the fuck are you doing to me? And here I would just go like that and walk away. I wouldn't overtrade that. These are obvious trade plans. We're going to sell high, buy low. See what happens. Here I'm going to actually buy with stops on this. I'm up 49, so I'm up 200. I was up $300 at this top. I could have cashed out everything up there. So coulda, woulda, shoulda, you know, like anything else. But yeah, I wouldn't be too nitpicky, although, you know, on the RSI, you're going to have to go with this, yeah, especially going to draw trend lines and close, you know. Yeah, it's going to matter. That's going to be part of the, like here is the kind of the channel buying thing, or the Andrews Pitchfork argument is that you're going to buy any kind of inflection off of that. You're going to sell any inflection off of that. Anytime it touches this channel, you get multiple channels going here. You know, it's something to do. I mean, it's boring. Trading's boring. So I get it. You want to do like, here, look at we're coming down this channel, counter trending to that. Yeah, sit here all day and do fucking Gartleys. That's why people probably do them, because the market's so fucking boring. Let's see, a little landing area. Come back into this. Let's make a argument for what's the still. This is the big pivot. As long as we're above 108, right? We're safe to buy. Baseline. How about a horizontal baseline? Honestly, if you do baseline, wouldn't you just have a price baseline? Would that just make too much sense? Here, it's got to be above this. Otherwise, you're fucked. Now, they could stop hunt to here. I'm still a buyer, so I would say let me go for a deep, all day long drop. I believe that this is a giant swing. I'm going to get in here. Risk $10 here. Is that right? Because I got $5. Here's $10. Here's a buy limit. Here's a buy limit. All day long. I don't have to babysit this. And I want to buy the stop hunt when we come below that wick, if that happens. So that's basically all I'm doing. I'm saying, I don't know. I'll take it all the way down. 25 pips, 34 pip stop. It's funny it's a 34 pip stop, but that's just how it comes out when you're risking $10 with a 10 pip stop on a 4K. Here I'm going to get real aggressive here. I got just enough free margin to fill these tickets. And I'd buy this on pullback too, so I wouldn't really discriminate. I just don't want to duplicate my entry price, so I leave the balls there. So I make sure that I don't duplicate my entry price. So I'm going to catch a falling knife here. As long as we, and this is a nice buy because look how harsh that thing's tanking. Now here's the correlation. The euro's going up and the dollar's going down. The euro's going up, and now they're correlated. Here comes the pullback in the guppy. So on this one, I'm going to trade with a 25 pip stop. I'll buy if they pull it below there. I'm counting on the overshooting the runway on some of these tickets. Another thing is that if you have a 17 pip stop, a 15, and you're risking $10 on each of these trades, by the way, that's not too much. It's not like 50 on that big grid, you know. So this is a little bit wimpier trading style here. I guess if you place these properly, you'll make money on the, you'll be able to trade in the United States, but it's sometimes just not worth it. I mean, you can't just do it. I don't know why people don't want to trade overseas. They think the money, what are you going to go down to Rwanda with a gun? Where's my money? You stopped me out of that trade. Get me slippage, you son of a bitch. How dare you slip me on that demo? I guess technically, I don't know. I got a buddy that bought the brokerage firm out there. I know a guy that just, my millionaire guy, he's like, dude, we just started our own account. We just made our own brokerage firm. If you got $100,000, you just fucking, no, as long as you're, I don't know. Are you? I don't know. Should I report myself to the prison? I don't know. I guess, well, what happens typically is the government just goes and the company just gets afraid of the United States, right? And they just refuse to go with the drama, so they refuse to. Even unregulated brokers, some unregulated brokers refuse to actually deal with the United States. But there are unregulated brokers that will, and there's regulated ones that will too. Or you just have a friend offshore. You know, do you have any friends overseas? Just log into their account and trade it, and hopefully you can trust them to send you money. What's the difference? You know. I guess they're refusing people from Canada too. Don't forget, Canada's a big fucking nanny state. So when you see refusals, if you see the list, actually, if you're from like I don't know, some place like North Korea, you probably can't open an account either. Don't forget. I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it. If you have to trade manually in the United States at 50 to 1, just put fucking more money in the account. Look at him crush this yen. So I'm getting filled on this yen. Look at him crush it. So here, I definitely got my fill here at this basement on the 30-minute. My tablet's not filling very well, though. I'm going to go for 3 and 5 pips now. So I'm trying to catch a falling knife here on the dollar yen. I'm ready to get on my euro, though. I'm ready to scalp out. Top of the hour is coming. I don't know much about it either. I mean, I know a guy in Texas that's trading at a brokerage firm that you know, he's just grandfathered in. He never left. So I asked him, God, how'd you do that? He goes, I don't know. They kind of went after the a lot of the Russian brokers were shut down. It started in Cyprus, is where I started trading, everything was in Cyprus, because at that time, I guess the taxes were 5% flat. And then the Russians went in there, and the Russians had their money parked there in Cyprus. And then, of course, people came in and raided the banks and that whole thing about that. And I don't know if it's for taxes. I don't know why they raided them, but I guess the government got pissed off that people were parking their money over there and just trading the fuck out of it. So that was a lot of the, like Windsor brokers, they're still there. They made me actually sign forms saying that, like real brokerage forms, like I had to fax them back the form. It's not like opening an account digitally where you just go to a broker and be like, okay, we're in, I got my password, let's start trading. Yeah, Grand Capital still exists, which you can trade there, you know. You can even trade a cent account there. The spreads aren't great, but if you're not right, well, there's all these nooks and crannies, you know. There's a guy named Clint over on Baby Pips that basically does a list. That Samurai Trader's trading over there. Yeah, it's in the Dominican Republic, you know, so they have I used to have a broker out of Panama. That used to be where people ran with their money. Instead of going all the way to St. Vincent, they would just go to Panama. That isn't that where that blonde-haired girl was. Oh gosh, about 25 years ago. Can't remember her name. I want to say Anna Nicole, but no, it's somebody. It's somebody. I don't know. That's where a lot of rich people go. Or you can just fucking move your money offshore, and then you can. So for $500, you can open a bank account offshore, and then you can just transfer that into the brokerage firm and just trade it out of there. It wouldn't matter. In other words, because the brokerage firm is accepting funds from that bank, that's how you would it would just be like instant deposit, and of course it would go back through there, so there's no laundering going on. The whole reason why it's such a bitch to trade Forex, because people were using it to launder money. They were depositing pant loads of money to rinse it, right? It's okay, it's in there. It's not in the bank, see? When you fill out the application, the whole reason you have to do all that bullshit is for money laundering. But yeah, it's ridiculous. But you get 1,001 leverage at Trader's Way. That's right. So I had all those weird payment services. Dude, I had, you name it, I had it. I had OK. You ever heard of OK Pay out of Russia? I had all the Russian cards. Well, not all of them, but I had WebMoney, OK Pay. Then I was at Hot Forex until Hot Forex kicked me out. But they were out of Cyprus, I think. And just before that, they had this thing where they had a debit card called Payoneer. And I thought, well, that'd be fucking great, man. I could just do a withdrawal to my Payoneer card, and I could just walk around with a debit card and have like withdrawals within 1 fucking hour at the end of the day. Boom. And I applied for the Payoneer card, and they go, United States, no for you. Then I had, dude, I've done it all. Yeah, Skrill, which used to be Money Bookers. So one day I stepped up to do a deposit over at this brokerage firm in Cyprus, and they said to me, UK Cyprus, they said, oh, sorry, no more Skrill for you, which is out of New York City. Actually, if you called them and said, what's going on? Actually, Skrill was the best. They would charge you 5%, but guess what? They answer the fucking phone in New York, they talk to you. And then unless you had a balance at Skrill, okay, so this is how it works. For whoever the powers that be shut all this stuff down. There was a time when you could just say, okay, I want to take this Visa card that I own for my bank, and I want to clear it through Skrill or Money Bookers, which is obvious for gambling. And that's another thing, is that we got to shut that gambling down. So it's funny that Skrill changed their name from Money Bookers to Skrill, because people are like, holy shit, are you gambling? Yeah, a little bit. I'm a gambler, I'm a risk taker. And then they were like, okay, you can transfer with your card and you're good to go. And then when you come back, you can have it in your Skrill wallet. And then it came to the point, you can't make a deposit off of your card. You can only make a deposit off your Skrill wallet. You need to upload into that. But this was 10 years ago when I was looking into all this stuff. And when the doors started to close and they said, you can't use OKPay, you can't use NetTeller, you can't use blah, blah, blah. NetTeller just fused with Skrill. They're together now. Then there's, I should name all these things. I could name all day long these cards like Dixie Pay, the one out of Canada. So the only link to really getting your money into there is through Canada. There's a thing called, now they banned me from using it, but it's called a Gold Center with an E at the end, like Century Gold or Center Gold or Gold Center. It still exists. And that's kind of like they charge you a fee to clear a card and convert it into digital currency into Well, now it's Bitcoin. People are using Bitcoin for that instead. But back in the day, it was about using the staging. You'd stage it into a digital wallet. So it was like Bitcoin, but maybe not as cryptic. Obviously, Euro's going up. Dollar yen's dropping into my little trap here. Catch fly knife. But yeah, it was crazy. And then I was like, well, fucking A. Then I think I said once I stumbled into this situation where if you wanted to buy a Visa card without any name on it, I mean, no fucking name, dude. $500 for the card. Then you could load that card. The card costs $500. And this is even the dark web. This is before, I mean, this is 10 years ago. I'm like, what the fuck am I into here? And then you can see all this shit about go retire overseas, go here, go there, right? Once you go down that world, then you're into that. You're just into like, you're just going to leave the country for God's sakes at this point. I mean, your money's offshore. Now you're going to show up in Belize with your money and you're going to trade over there. You can still trade there at FX Choice in Belize. I mean, there's got to be 10 brokers like that. I mean, if you're not into, I think CoinEx bought FinPro or something like that. I mean, you got to keep up on this shit, but, or you could just go, there are probably brokers that are clearing things because there's got to be more than one broker in the United States. I can't believe that FXCM, Oanda is the only fucking broker available to U.S. citizens. Isn't IG available to the U.S. citizen at a low leverage? A lot of these people that have brokerage firms overseas say, oh, you can just open an account with the low leverage thing here, I'm assuming. Anyways, we're storming north on the euro into my sell banks. I'm taking profit as this goes up here, I suppose, but I don't know if I got filled, see? Shay? No, these are the take profits on the sell side. I'm not used to seeing that. Really? You're Russian? Jesus. Yeah, you know who I like over there in Russia? A lot of people think it's a bucket shop, but the broker I had was called Exness, and they had 1,001 leverage, and I thought it was pretty decent broker. Some guy named Boris is running it. Go figure. Something like that. A real classic Russian name, but God, do you speak Russian? Can you read MT4 code? It's funny that all this talk about the Russian collusion, and here a whole time the fucking Russians have been building this MT4 platform to just drive us Americans insane. I think it's like a real, like a subliminal torture. We're trying to get our brains around the MT4 code. Somebody told me it was written in some language. I go, I still think it's got some Russian in there somewhere. Why, of all places on the planet, did they pick to build a trading platform? What happened there? Yeah, I know I should go out and hunt down somebody to do a simple. Of course, I'm okay with these scripts I wrote because to me this is more precise and it makes more sense than having a robot. A robot's not gonna be able to see this hole up here, I don't think. Whereas I can actually place precision orders up here. I think this is the way to really trade it. Semi-manual trading, I suppose. Like here I can just say, you know what? I definitely want to sell up there for the scalp. And I know this is a scalp. It's 8-pip stop. Let's see if I can do the same thing here. I'm going to put a scalp in here. So this is 8 hours. I'm saying that I'm going to buy this pullback. I don't think that's a lot of risk. I'm risking about $10 there. But yeah, it's so you're relatively new to United States or to trading? Alex Lapp. That doesn't sound very Russian. Or Lapp is short for some god awful consonant filled last name. Man, look at this dollar. Look at this yen. So I'm just milking this. So are you on a demo account, or are you trading inside of the Skrillette? God, is this the Joshua Roberts that used to post on? Don't you post on? I used to post inside of Google Plus, and they destroyed Google Plus. What happened there? Can you explain that to me? Why would Google Plus go away? Were people getting too spam malicious? Aren't you a postaholic? Joshua Roberts. Didn't you post quite a bit in there? Okay. Oh yeah, you watching Nick. He's hilarious. Nick is very intense. God, you've actually got subscribers. Get a job. Why wakes are better than funerals. Yeah, Nick's on my page as far as I basically, like, if Nick traded Forex, that's me. Gosh. Yeah, so you're National Geographic graphic political reality wake up call. Is this when Trump won or something? That's pretty brutal. 28 minutes. Perception, conditions, existence, organic life. Yeah, you look like the guy that was posting in the were you ever on the I don't know if you're a trader, but I don't know, Google Plus went bye-bye. What did the last two numbers on the end of the script stand for? That's supposed to be the actual dollar risk, so although it doesn't include the spread and slippage, unfortunately, but it's an attempt to call out the total risk. I don't think anyone uses Google Plus. Yeah, no, they actually outlawed it right at about about 2 weeks ago. They pulled the plug. But that's how I got a lot of people. I posted a lot of videos there, and that's when I attacked ICT. Okay, ICT was at the biggest Forex site in Google Plus, right? And I came across one of his videos one day, and it just got under my skin how just he was being so ridiculously ridiculous. And that my first criticism of him was I found him through Google Plus. And then I posted in the title ICT or something, and I had about 1,000 views in one day, and I had one guy give me a death threat and said, "Do you know who you're talking about?" And I'm like, and then ICT said, the comments are still there. He said, "Okay, you have my attention now." It was just so funny. It was as if I said something bad about Ron L. Hubbard, and the Scientologists were just foaming at the mouth, ready to lynch me. It was incredible. It was unprecedented. And then I just went on, and then I couldn't help but poke the ICT bear. It was just too much fun. And the wheels just came off, and then some people that were trading with him, like this girl from the UK who actually spent money. And it turns out all these people spent money with him, and they were like totally like, what the fuck? Like, what am I doing? And because he makes it so cryptic when he explains it to people, I just think he makes it like this, well, I can't tell you that or I have to kill you kind of fucking commentary about the chart. And I'm like, are you serious? Well, these are banker levels, and the bankers, how they love kiddie porn. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I expected him to go to like a Pizzagate area on the chart or something. I was, what the fuck? Is this guy kidding me? But I think that's the appeal, sucking in the flat earthers. Yeah, and of course, there is that mystique, right? That he knows something, like the Robinacci thing, where I know that he knows that that I know that I think they're poisoning my food. I think they're trying to poison my food. Look at this. Look at this euros back in the seller's window, right? On the daily. You're underwater on this trade. Don't forget, the guy that sold the tippy top is underwater right now. He's going, holy shit. I didn't scalp out of that? Damn it. You son of a bitch. This is what I'd be thinking. Especially if I'm buying this kind of wick, I'd be like, oh boy. Maybe I shouldn't get in front of this train. It's not the hill to die on. How could we possibly finish out the rest of this week? Are we going to do a blowout? Are we going to stop hunting the Wednesday? Are we coming up to that? That's tomorrow. I don't know. So, but I mean, I guess he's selling you that feeling that he is going to. He does continually say, though, hey, listen, man, you're responsible for your own trade, and this is a demo account, and he's on the 15-minute chart with tiny wicks, and I'm like, I still can't see where the stop hunt is on that fucking chart. I cannot see it. That's why I went and hunted down. As far as indicators go, I did look for this big fat wick. I can make this wick as fat as I want because I want to see that very tippy top, because I think this is the trick. This little window here where we keep on going a little bit higher on the daily, a little bit higher. Rut-roll. No more buyers. I wonder if we could go down now. Like, isn't this the biggest deal up here? Like, isn't this resistance? And isn't this support? Even though there's supports in between that, right? I get the fact that there is this support. But holy shit. How hard can this be? ICT will make it sound so complicated, then he'll unravel it for you. So, I'm coming out of my sell limits tonight. I am buying this dollar yen. I wonder if they could take it down there. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? That's the 30-minute chart. So are we running out of speed here on the 30-minute? Look at this guppy. It's consolidating. It's caught between a rock and a hard place. Big sell area here. But we got to get above this wick. Got to punch up there tonight. Australian dollar looks hell-bent on just raping north. I mean, this thing's pissed off. Nobody makes the Australian dollar sit in the corner. I can't even get perspective on this. I'm going to have to go to the daily. See, it doesn't make sense on the 4-hour chart. This is such a lughead currency. I'm saying, if I put my sell limits on these tops, this is my first scalp window. Also the cash outs for the longs if I'm long. I did get filled on my goober entry lock. Look at this. Proudly got filled on my buy stop here. Total goober mode here. Making higher highs. I'm buying into that. My sell stop's down here to put me in a hedge. Yeah, Nick's hilarious though. God, him and Bill Bill Burr, ruthless, but Nick's got a little faster wit. Like he can just do these rapid fire 5 cut downs in 30 seconds. Just 5 angles on one cut down. It's just boom, boom, boom. It's amazing. He's vicious. I mean, I'd say, yeah, give me like a Norm Macdonald on this, little Norm Macdonald, little Bill Burr, little Nick, greatest hits of just out there. Comedy's the only place that you can really stretch out and kind of just really make a point, and shroud it in comedy, but really make a point that you couldn't make otherwise, because if you made it otherwise, they put you in jail. But if you couch it in a comedy, you nest it inside a comedy, and all of a sudden it's acceptable. And it's really pretty funny, too. It looks like the guppy's going to make a run north here. I'm going to put some more cells up here. Right above that area. I might be asking too much to make it there in 8 hours, though. Yeah, I didn't cash out. Like I said, I could have cashed out here. Good question. Because here was the exit. I already marked off the seller's window. On the 1 hour chart right here, that was the exit. Also, there was another exit I could have taken earlier, too, which I didn't. Now, the question was, you'd also say, why didn't you cash out here and then reload here? And then, well, the next question is, why don't you cash out on this one, reload down here, and then sell and then buy again, then sell and buy again? Because I'm actually going to stay long this thing. I think this is really going to go up after all. And I don't care. It's a demo account, I guess. So I could get out now. I got a lot of exposure here to get filled on the sells coming into other currencies too. I'm willing to sell up here tonight on the guppy, which is going to be kind of dangerous. Yeah, my high watermark was 370. I could have made 370 and banked it and gone flat. I could have, but if you look at the 4 hour chart, what I'm saying is that I think that this trend line is going to be broken. I think this was the auction area. As long as we don't take out this low, look at this volume though. Just on this one particular broker, look at that volume spike. If you're in the volume shit. Huge volume there, dead cat bounce. Then no volume on this sell. Trapped underneath this floor. You kind of got to stay above 108 here. There's been a couple times you could have sold this in the downtrend mode too. Right? You could have sold this thing and say, hey, listen, I'm a seller to the downtrend. This one, they kind of beat you up, but if you sold here again, then you look like a genius because you sold it to the downtrend. But to me, what's going on now is, at the end of the day, they kind of stampeded into this thing, and they stopped out the bulls. So I don't have stops in this either. I'm risking the whole account. So I bought this window on limits, and I got more limits to fill down here too. So yeah, if it's real money, I'm definitely going to go flat here, and then I'm going to throw the limits in beneath. So what's your frequency of trading too? If you dump and reload, you could have just range traded that, even though it's kind of going up. And how much are you going to donate? I'm going to cash out of my euro dollar here and put limits in. Shit, here we Okay, so I'm cashing out of my euro dollar. And I'm going to put limits in like this tonight. And then here I can cover this as a 15 pip stop. Yeah, that last number would be the dollar amount. But see, on this rack of tickets, what's going on here is that I essentially have a master stop of 5 pips on this because I have a 15 pip stop, which means the top of that fill zone here, if it fills this, there's a 10 pip window before I start getting stopped out of all those tickets. So here's like here's a 20 pip stop. I'm allowing 20 pips before that last ticket. So it's more of a swing trade. It was easy to do the math on these. It's every pip in that window. So the trick is to find a place to put that order in, layer that in, have some scalps commingled in. Like this is the scalp built around the broader. Here's a 3K and a 20 pip zone. This is very light trading here. Like you could survive. And this is a bad ratio. You're risking $12 to make $6 here. High probability of getting out of that trade though, as opposed to getting with a 40 pip stop. You could probably make 20 pips. And here's the 40 pips to make 80 pips. So if you're going to buy that area, you're going to commingle some of those things so you can cash out of something, just in case. You'll make something from that. So I can sell everything above this wick. To me is a good sell. And then I would just layer another one up there. I'd have a hard time buying this right now. It looks like you're kind of chasing this into the abyss above, but you know, it could be a good winning trade. Who knows? I'd be a little nervous because I think there's still a lot of sellers up in here. And there's also people that sold above that. They sold here, they're underwater, and they're looking to make their 10 pips back, I think. And this is a top tech Tommy entry here. And if you sold there, you know, it's kind of perverse because you're actually trading against what you think. You know, the hardcore sellers of the British pound, they sell that new high there and they're like, fuck it, I'm selling every new high. And then they just hold that and wait for the thing to tank. Or are you adding to a long by buying the breakouts in the 4 hour? Let's hope not. Let's hope you're buying the stop hunt on the 1 hour. Let's hope you're buying this. Pull back, and then you have this low volatility 1 hour. You could either pull the trigger there, or you're going to put a buy stop there because it's a small enough bar. So it's very hard. Yeah, right. Wow, there you go, up 33%. I think if I was $1 million account and I was up 33%, I would get out. Okay, here's one. How about this? I am up on this. Let me get out of this trade then. I'm gonna get out of this trade. I'm up about 20 grand right now. I'm up 20 grand on this account. Watch me get out. I'm gonna have to manually get out of this though. Even though I think it's going up, I'm gonna get out of this one. So I'm gonna take my 20 grand. I don't know what percentage this is, but it's still $20,000. There's a $100,000 account. I don't know what that is. Maybe 10%. Okay, I'm just gonna start peeling this off manually. Brace yourself. It's gonna be loud. I have to turn that off. Let's see how fast this broker lets you out. This is pretty fast. Everyone's a winner. Oops. Fuck. Wait. I don't have a script in here to get fast execution, so I'll just slow down or it's gonna try to modify. Giant swing trade. So it's a lot of work. I have a script that's not in here that just takes them all off like a zipper. Take all winnings off the table. So this, I could pad the account on that. I could cash out and claim. Look at this, 20 grand I made in 1 week. First in, first out. I guess if I was in the States, I'd have to hunt down the first in. So you could have done this in the United States. You could have done stopless entry. Everything's a 10K here. Shit. It's just kind of dead here, so might as well just do this and then reload on limits. So you asked me why I didn't get out before. Well, I could have done it quicker in the other account. I could have actually got out everything in like one click, but this is definitely a big bitch. I do have a close all script. It's not in here though. I could bring it in from the other broker here. Oh, actually, this is kind of a funny trick here. I may be able to run. I was able to do this with some drops. I can actually bring that script into this platform, I think. That was weird. One day I accidentally dragged this over. And I could actually drop a limit in here. It's not working here, but it was crazy. Like I could actually take this and it would run on this other broker, but for some reason it's not working. But yeah, I have to open this code. This is per symbol exit. I'll just make a new script. I like how this is not responding. Okay. Let me just bring this into here now. It should be scripts. Oh boy. Another drama. I can't believe it's that hard to bring this shit up. So I'm going to call this, let's call it CA close all. Okay. There you go. Oh, it's attempting. Can't do it. I don't know why. Maybe I have something turned off in here. I don't know why I want to execute. Something's fucked up in my... I thought I had it turned on. Damn it. Okay, here we go. There you go. It should be getting out now. There you go. A lot of tickets. Here you go. It's closing everything out. Per symbol on that one, actually. Okay, then we can come in with limits. There you go. $21,000. So if I'm still a bull, it's going to look like this, which I am. I'm just going to trade super light now. Really hard to blow up the account. Really hard now. There you go. You happy now? I'm not always out of my mind. I'm not stupid like everybody says. Dollar yen, I'm about to buy that now. Maybe I should go into the other account and buy that, but I'm going to catch a falling knife here on the end. So I'm just going to look at this yen here. So that one's closed out. I don't have to worry about that account. I have a couple pendings there. I don't think we'll blow up the account on that. So, I didn't really. All I did was I opened up the code. I looked in there and I said, the original thing that came with this was a pending order. And then I found this other stuff. And then I just kind of knew that this was 4 hours for how long it lasts. This is the, like this is hard coded to buy 11.1 pips deep. And everything's in here like hard, set. And then I was just like, okay, let's try this. Let's try that. That's all I really know is the scripts. As far as the EAs, I really couldn't tell you. The only thing I understand thoroughly is the script. The problem with the EA is it's like waiting for a tick and then it has this whole sequencing thing. This is just too complicated. Look at this bullshit in this EA. Another thing, the scripts are just, they're passive. I can't do close all open and pendings also. I can do close all pendings kind of stuff. I guess if I had a money management robot coming in behind me to, dare I say, run a trailing stop, that's the only EA I could imagine running behind the script, so that as you get filled on these things, you're like, okay, at least we're protecting the account, and if things go crazy. But here I can see, if I think I got enough orders in there, this fucking went nuts here. So New Zealand's cutting north too. It just took out the weekly. We're in the seller's window though. But look at this thing pounding north. It's one pissed off currency. It's easier to see the sell spots here. All right, open that stuff like that. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, so it's like now the euro's going up. Now that I got out of it. Thanks for scaring me. So this dollar yen, I'm going to hang in this one. Looks like the British pound's going to go stampeding north into this abyss. Looks very pissed off. We're in this window right now. The selling just started here, all the way to the top of the week. Look at, I want to show you this guy trading. Let me see if this is it.
Not gotten into debt. We have to put a little bit, even if it's a small piece, we have to put that away.
Here, this guy.
For another day. And then when we do that, we can put that money to work. And that's,
has anybody ever seen this guy?
Lesson that we need to learn in life, because when we learn it, it really opens up the doors. It opens up opportunities like this, you know, where you can make $1,800 in a trading session, and that goes a long ways to getting a truck, right? It goes a long ways to giving you the life that you want to live. All right, let's take a look. That's just kind of going sideways. Let me zoom in real quick here. We're not really making money, not really losing money. What I'm doing is
this guy's selling into this thing. He's underwater, and he's just, I don't know how big. I think he's trading 10Ks.
I'm pulling up these profit targets right now up to a point where we have a high probability of hitting. So if those profit targets are down here, there's a low probability of hitting those profit targets. As long as as these profit targets are above that line, we have a high probability of hitting them, or a higher probability of hitting them. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm adjusting those profit targets higher. Just want to make sure that if it pops down and tests this, there, look at that little move right there. That's a good move. We just picked up a little bit of profit on one of those trades.
I know this guy just befuddles me. He's so mellow and just so, it's like if the Amish could trade.
See if we get another push lower. This is why it's important that we pull those profit targets off, because we can constantly be booking profit into the account while the trade is setting up.
Well, there's this thing he does called, are you familiar with this guy? He does this thing called the wobbler. And apparently what he's doing is, he's just fucking getting in. And if he's up, he's just like, whatever. I think he's selling high. He's selling up into this rally. I think he actually has the 5-minute chart on the right and the 1 minute on the left, which to me is awkward as fuck. He's using the structure on the 5 We're walking down a stairway in the 5. He's selling on the 1 minute. I mean, he's focusing on the 1 minute. So that's a little disorientating too. But he's the guy that trades a lot. He trades a lot of tickets, you know. He's okay with really scaling into this thing and scaling out. So that's how I like to do it. Scale in and scale out.
And it's just kind of dying again. Really a slow market. Noon. We should probably do these YouTube lives a little different time than noon. Let's jump over, see if there's anything happening over on the British pound. Nothing there. 5 minute. Oh, let's pop back over to the 1 minute. Sorry. So that 1 minute chart is it's down on a layer of profit targets that we are at right now. So we're sitting down on that last layer of profit targets. We've got just a few trades at that level. I'm going to go ahead and peel this one off because the price level isn't all that great on that. So coming down just a few more ticks and we should be able to close out of all those trades, and that sets up that one leg lower over here on the 5 minute chart. Now obviously we'd love for that to break and move lower, but the chances of finding support here are pretty good, right? So what we're going to do is, as long as this pattern of choppy consolidation happens, we're going to ride both the ups and the downs during that and hopefully make a little bit of money in the process.
I guess it's as simple as that. He's just going to ride it up and down. I mean, this guy has the most simple, like, we're just going to do, I'm trying to find that wobbler thing here. Yeah, it's bizarre. He's got quite a bit of material in here, I must say. He's like got this, I don't understand the whole thing, so I have to explain it to me. It's a virtual prop house with this honeybee concept of all these people putting money in this fund, and I don't know, I guess people are reinvesting 30% of their profits. They're taking 70% home. It's interesting. I'd never seen anything like it before. The guy's certainly mellow as hell. I mean, he makes you feel like, oh, trading's just so easy. Well, it really is if you just talk like this. Okay, well, we're going to sell here. Okay, now we're going to buy. Okay, in 5 minutes, we're going to sell again. Now we're going to buy. Are you okay with that? Jack Handey. Deep Thoughts with Jack Handey Trading. I think we'll buy a little bit. I don't know what the wobbler thing is. I have to find it. Here's more live trading.
Hey traders, Sean Lucas here. So good to be with you this afternoon. We're going to talk a little bit today about candlesticks. And you know, sometimes candle, right? Because
I want him to trade it live.
so the first thing to
Uh-oh. I thought it was live trading. He's got some wackadoodle stuff in here. Whatever you need to pull the trigger, I think. Damn. I know it's in here. I'm gonna look for it. They have spell corrector here. Wobbling $2,500 account.
All right, we had a little bit of technology problems in the beginning. It took us about 20 minutes to figure out how we've got how to share a screen or allow Henry to be able to play some trades on my account, but he was able to do that. And he had a great trading session, made about $286 on the session. So that's not bad. That's more than the average income in America. It's, the everyday person is going to be making about that much in an entire day of work. So Henry was able to do that in less than an hour this morning at our traderonthestreet.com website. So we do these they're called taproom trading, and so you have to join the Trader on the Street website in order to follow along. And once you do, once you get in and log in you become a member. It's like $10 a month. But if you want to join now, because we are in the very near future, we're going to raise that to about $15 a month. I just got we're looking to rebuild the website, and the website is going to cost us, some astronomical number. I was like, for a website, it's going to cost that much money? Anyway, so anyway, the $10 a month right now just helps us, provide all the technology and stuff like that. Helps us defray some of the costs. So it's not a lot of money. Totally worth joining. And then, one day when you may get a call from Aspen, our product manager, and say, hey, and usually when we have those little trading sessions, you'll get a check like Henry.
It sounds like he's being held for ransom, and he was told to make these statements, and Al-Qaeda's going to cut his head off at the... No, he does have a quiver in his voice, it's bizarre. Of course, he just could be camera shy, I don't know.
You get a check like Henry for the trading profits that we make during that session. So he made about 286,
It could be his hat. Who wears a fucking hat like that and doesn't have a little bit of am I being too ridiculous with this hat kind of nervousness?
$86 in that session, and then also before that session I traded and made about $600. So he took home my trading profit and his own trading profit. So he made about $939.
He has a sociopathic constant grin
this morning. So a lot of fun. Go to Trader.
There's a lot of things you can say about people, but to watch this guy trade, and maybe he's a sociopath, that's why he's good at trading.
On thestreet.com, become a member of the tap room, and
oh my, the tap room, beers,
and then join me on Wednesday mornings when we do these little trading sessions. They're a lot of fun. Okay, let's see. I am not seeing any chat functionality working here, so I'm gonna...
I don't know. Every strategy, it should be able to be put into a robot, you would think, right? But I think you need more than one strategy. If I had 5 strategies running, are you going to tap me out? Like, are we going to wrestle and then I get to tap out? Is this going to be stop I love it game? I've been raped by an Amish farmer who trades Forex. Officer, no, I'm not making this. Call 911. I'd like to report an incident. But I do wonder, I would say if you had a breakout system and you had a trend system, you have these different systems running, yeah, you probably would make money. I wish I could find the algorithmic trading interview and chat with traders where he has this guy on who all he does is do that kind of stuff.
I'm going to hand this off to our staff here to see if they can, otherwise I can't see what you're saying in the chat box. Okay.
And he's all about bees, so he's got swarm. Maybe he was bit by bees once, and this is why he kind of has this hive mentality. But it's too easy to make fun of people, I think, for me.
Now we're seeing it. The other thing I want to bring to your attention is the Hamilton Challenge. For those of you who are in the apiary fund, the Hamilton Challenge is what we're doing to help develop consistency in our trading. Consistency is like one of the most important attributes that you can have as a trader. Like one of the best
I'm consistently losing. Does that count?
compliments someone could pay a trader is, holy smokes, that trader is
Loser.
consistently profitable.
Oh,
You know,
sorry.
if you get someone describing you as a trader saying that you're consistently profitable, you know, that's like the ultimate compliment. The Hamilton Challenge helps us focus in on that consistency, because what we're doing is every day we're trying, you know, we're taking a $10,000 simulated account and trying to make $10 out of that account every day. Now, I know $10 is not moving the needle at all for you. I know that, you know, that's maybe a Happy Meal for your kids at McDonald's these days. But what it represents is a consistency in your stream of income. So once you get to that point where you're consistently making $10 a day in your account, you know, then you can raise the needle a little bit, because you've got this pattern and this habit of making a consistent $10 a day. That's not hard to turn into $12 a day, $15, $20, $200, $2,000. It's all a function of risk, and all a function of, you know, how much you want to make and how much money you have in your account to get the dollars out of your consistency in your trading. So that's, go and make sure you focus in on that Hamilton Challenge for those of you who are trading at the apiary fund, because it is so important that you develop that skill of consistency in your trading. All right, let us jump into an account here. And so what we're looking at here is a $2,500 account. You can see I made a little bit of money this morning in the trading of it. We're sitting in a $2,500 account. There was a lot of questions, I think, this morning as I was reviewing the Trader on the Street. They were asking, you know, Sean, that's a $2,500 account, but you could trade up to 5 lots in it. That's not exactly true. If I was to go in here and put a 5-lot trade on, it would reject that trade. So look, it says here that I can trade up to 5 lots, but I'm going to put a 5-lot on. It rejects it because I don't have enough margin in the account. So this is just count based on an old setting that I had in my profile that's calculating my max position size. Max position size, for those of you who are at the apiary fund, is a tool that we use to limit risk exposure. And so sometimes in an account, we'll put a max position size.
I like the emoji sweating face here. Like, I put this trade on and my comment is, I'm shitting my pants.
Limit on
That's
the
cute.
account. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can trade that much money like this,
Huh?
right? If there's not enough funds in the account, you can't trade it. It's just, we're going to set a max position size. So this is my universal max position size. And but that does not necessarily mean that I can trade that amount. So how much can you trade? That's where we want to start in our discussion about how to trade in a small account, because, you know, we have very limited resources. And one of the things that I am a big proponent of is building into a position. So you're building into a position. You start out small, you build into a position, you get a little bit bigger, get a little bit bigger, get a little bit bigger until you get the move that you're wanting. And that's part of the wobble technique. So let's talk a little bit about max position. So what I typically do when I come into an account like this, doesn't matter the size of the account. Honestly, the amount in the account, that sounds good. It rolls off the tongue. The amount in the account really doesn't matter. What matters is how much you're putting in at each layer. So for example, let's say this is not necessarily what I'm looking for the market to do right now, but let's say that we're looking at the market right here. It's sitting at a resistance level. Right here, it's sitting at a resistance level. And let's say that I want to get into a short. I don't think this resistance level will hold, and so I want to get into a short. And so I enter a small position right here, okay? Well, in fact, let's just do that. Let's drop this 0.01. So I've entered a position. I'm in two positions right here of 0.01. You can see my total positions is 0.02. So I'm in two positions here. If this thing breaks up above this resistance level, then I'm still short in the market. I still think the market's going to drop down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to identify all my different layers where I will continue to be short until the market breaks a certain layer. So I identify all my different layers in the market, and I say, okay, I'm going to be short through all of these different layers. These are the various places that I'm going to enter into short. If it rallies up, I'm going to build another short position here. Rallies up, and breaks that. I'm going to build another short position here. And another one here, and another one here.
So that's basically what I'm doing. What he's doing, I'm doing that with scripts that I can place up there. So I also don't have the exposure. For these higher tickets are going to last longer, obviously, because it would take longer to get there. So he's grid trading is what he's doing. He could have gone long or short here. It didn't matter, because if he would have gone long, he probably would have done the same story down here. Put buy limits in here at the ricochet points.
So in this trade setup, where I'm expecting the market to come down and test these lows, I've got all these different layers. I have all these different layers on the market. So my first layer is here, where we just put in a trade, and I put 2 on. If it comes up here to this layer, I may put another 2 on. If it comes up here, I may put another 2 on. And all the while, I'm just saying, okay, that I'm expecting the market to move lower and test these. And then we manage these positions as we're building. But the key to trading a $2,500 account is not to go in and put one entire lot in on the first layer, right? Because you've used up most of your leverage at that point, or most of your leverage. So how do I want to allocate these trades across the different layers? So how do I want to allocate it? I've got 2 in down here. Now I've got 2 in at that second layer. Maybe I want to double that position. So I go 2 here and then 4 positions here. Now what I've got to do is I've got to manage whatever max position I'm at. So 0.06, I have to make sure that that doesn't exceed my risk tolerance, okay? Because the key to losing money is to get overexposed to the market, right? So how much am I willing to risk on a trade like this? So, this may be a trade where I'm willing to risk, say, a 1/4%. So it's not a high probability trade. I don't want to risk a lot of money. So I've got $2,500 account, and I want to risk 1/4% on this trade. So 1/4% is, let's see here. So you take a $2,500 account. Can everybody see the calculator? Yeah, you can. So you can take a $2,500 account, multiply it by 1/4%. So that means $6.25 on the trade, $6.25. So each position here, each pip, the pip value is 0.1. So what that's saying is that if I took $6.25 and divided that by 0.1, that means that I could take 62 pips of loss during that. And if I took 62 pips of loss, then I would be upside down. I would be over my threshold, over my risk tolerance. So whatever I do, I have to make sure that I don't get over 62%, 62 pips of loss. Like right now, I'm sitting at 15 pips. If I come in here and add another layer right in here, so now I'm in 2 lots. Sorry, I'm in 2 lots right here. I'm in 4 lots here. I'm in 4 lots here, and I'm in a series of trades here. So now I'm starting to get built up to where I'm at 0.14 lot size, 0.14 lot size. Now I'm starting to get to a point where I've got to now get a movement back. I have to get one of these turns in the market. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep losing. And if this gets up over the pip value, the unrealized loss gets up over 62, then I'm at my 0.25% loss. So I have to balance, what I have to do is balance my lot size through this process. And that's what I'm trying to do here. Now, in the process, the reason why I might get into a trade like this is that, the longer term charts are pushing lower over here. This is our 5-minute chart. If you scale back, you even see more downward pressure, and then you've got an overextended up leg here. So this is moving more than 2-3 price cycles. This is moving more than 2-3 price cycles. So what I'm looking for now is I'm looking for that market to make a reversal and give me a down leg. Now, the chances of it getting all the way down, the chances of this market getting all the way down to hit this target down here, not really great, right? That's not a really good probability. And so what I'll be doing is balancing, clean these charts up just a little bit. I'll be balancing this position on any kind of down leg. I'll be taking and peeling off profits with any kind of losses so that I can get this position size down to something a little bit more manageable. So I'm going to wobble, what I call wobble. I'm going to take profits off one side. I'm going to use that to compensate for losses on the other side. So right here, just like it is right now, we're coming into a profit zone. And we're going to take off one of those positions. So now I'm down to four positions on this trade. So in order to trade, I guess the point I'm trying to make here is in order to trade in a small account using the wobble technique, you have to get into this practice of making sure that you're balanced, that you're not getting overexposed to a trade, right? Had this thing rallied up, continued to rally up, then I would have had to start to take some losses on that account. Otherwise, I start to hit the 0.25% loss, and whatever I do, I can't exceed that. That's my rule. I can't exceed that 0.25% loss. So that's and as it comes down like it is here, you notice that we took off. Here, let's go through it. So you'll notice that we took off profits right in here, here. I don't know if this, no, yeah, these are all, so from about here up, these were all the profits that I took off. 2 pips, 2 pips, 2 pips, 1.5 pip, 2 pips, 2 pips, 2 pips, 2 pips. And then I used some of that profit to offset those losses, all so that I could reduce my exposure, my total position size to the market. Okay? Now, if you get consistent at being able to manage your position properly in the market, and that's the key, is to be able to manage that position properly, then what you can do, if you get consistent at that, then when you jump into a $10,000 account, or you're at Apiary Fund and you've got 3 months of consistent profitable results, and Ron says, okay, I'm going to put you up into a $50,000 account, then you're looking at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 15, 20. So roughly 20 pips of profit instead of being 20 cents, or sorry, $2, instead of being $2, 20 pips is $200. So the same consistency, managing it the same way in a larger account, that's where you start to make money. So a $2,500 account, I'm not going to lie, it's not the type of account that you're going to make $1 million in. Turning a $2,500 account into $1 million income is not a real feasible objective, right? Turning it into a $10 or $5 income, that might be more feasible given the market conditions. But a $50 income, not feasible. You really need the bigger size to produce income. But the key is trading the exact same way on the small account, the same technique, managing those max positions on the small account as you do in a $2,500 account, managing it the exact same way you do in the $10,000 account, and managing it the exact same way you do in a $50,000 account. Now you can get the income. Now you can get the income that you're looking for. So that's the key.
Yeah, but if you scale out of your winners, at least you're going flat, you see. This is the you almost can't go for a hard exit all the time, because the market's not structured that way. Like, it's going to turn around if it's going in one direction hard. So like right now, I'm buying more dollar yen right now on this account that I started for $1,000 last night. And I was up to, I'm using the wobble technique, I suppose. I had no idea I was wobbling the account. So I'm buying more dollar yen here. And I'm just going to hold what I originally had. And I'm not going to scale out of my winners, I suppose. I've only taken 49 cents off this account so far. So I have been at $370 of profit here. I did add some more tickets, though, taking on more risk. So the pull back to this, once again, another stop hunt for the bulls. They got stop hunted. People that are very cheap. Running too tight a stop. So I'm ready to buy more down here. I've got limits in here. Some have stops, some don't. Actually, I blended them now in the account. So I could ride this count probably, if this is going to be a nice pullback for another stampede at this price, then that's obvious. We know there's just a plethora of sellers up here. Down here we've got the deep discount, unbelievable discount, unbelievable. Nice 3-hour stang. That's a sting move basically. Nice trap on the 1 hour rooftop here, and just stalls out and just says bye-bye. Nice clean obvious. Now we want to go after Wednesday. We want to try to get above this. Go after this price. That's the bull's dream. And then the bear's dream is that it's going to keep melting down into this hole. Right? It's in a downtrend. It's going to keep tanking. No, people say it's in an uptrend. So it was a triangulation. We got a triangle forming right now. Kind of shallow. I guess I could force it to a triangle here just by zooming out. So look at this triangle view. Well, kind of crawling out of the hole. So a big dump, sell off there, relief, rally into this double bottom, kind of overshoot the runway a little bit. Here's another pivot that's going to has to hold above this major structure here on the 4-hour. This bottom has to hold, I suppose, on close here to get the, it's like screeching to a halt here. This is the dream of the bears here on the 4-hour. Connect this to the lowest close. They're saying it's going to go down here. This other option is just to start buying here if you're not in. And if you're in, it depends what size you're in. I suppose this is the good old round number. It's also going to be the stop hunt on the 4-hour. If people are really loaded long on this, as it's creaking on the 4-hour chart, this is going to be my Gartley target, so to speak. Just, measured price pulse move, classic. It's the balance point here. We don't need to put up that silly market profile. I think we can figure out this is probably the balance point here. And are we going lower? Okay, let's buy it on here then. I like that the wobble guy doesn't really give a fuck. That's kind of the best attitude. I think we missed our sell window up here on the cash out. So I said earlier that if I was really going to sell, there's a 10 pip window here. About 10 pips right there. Guaranteed fill. As long as the spread doesn't go to 10 pips and kick you out of that. Now we're kind of crushing down tonight into this, forming a big doji right now. So this is, if we stall out around here, or are we just going to dip a little deeper tonight? Are we going to make a run on these stops that have been stacking up? Is there enough momentum left to really kind of go after these and clear that out? Or is it going to be, maybe they hunt just to here? So tonight, if you were to put orders in the kind of like, let's say the wobble technique, but you're really going to go like a whole zone here of wobble. I just put a pocket of tickets in there, a slot of tickets, like a slot machine. And if they come and raid that, I would so buy that. It wouldn't be. Now I'm long at the market right now on the. So I got into this trade on the dollar yen. I decided to buy this plunge because I like buying dips, and it just so happens that if I'm just a buyer only and I switch between two currency pairs, look for the best setup, that's about all my brain can handle. So I'm in the dollar yen right now. And I'm buying feverishly at the market because it's going up. I think it is going to go after the high of yesterday. And the euro's pulling back, so I'm flat the euro now. So this running out of gas here, I can kind of see it coming, I suppose. I'm going to load the wagon right now. Yeah, it's 3 p.m. So I think we're going to rally into Asia. It's going to be a gang rape trade. No offense to gang rapers, but yeah. So that's my trade for tonight. I'm just going to ride the storm out with this demo account. $1,000. I'm not risking too much. $250. That's my threshold, I think. I still got pendings on the euro dollar here. If they take it back down here, I'm going to buy more. So that might come in as they try to come back to this possibly. But for now, it's going to be sell above this and buy below this. And the only two pockets I can see. That's the only two windows. Looks like dollar yen's taking the lead here, so jump ship in the dollar yen now. Leave the euro behind. So I guess shallow pendings on that. Because they will move in concert at some point. You see all these currencies move in the same direction. So they uncorrelate and then they correlate. When they don't, which they will not do it. So it's just one of those things. Yeah, I guess stay above 108 here on the as long as you stay above 108, then we're good. So it looks good on the 1 hour. You kind of have to not go below right here. This is the big pivot, I think. So it shows up on the 4 hour, 1 hour, not too messy. I can scrunch it out a little bit. It looks a little messy there. But this is the big intention here. What are we going to do at this price? Can we blow through that? And can this poor currency get back to reality? Like, you got to know that the people that are loading up down here are going to cash out here and they're going to do the wobble thing and they're just going to go fucking flat hard into that, you know. I mean, that's trade going to take about 5 days, you know, but when this thing stabilizes and then it's like, okay, it sneaks away and it just goes roaring back. Of course, a lot of people are probably going to cash out here. But it's going to be a pretty quick and dirty healing of that hole, I suppose. Yeah, so maybe if we get up here and then we could just dump everything above here and kind of get out early maybe. Start selling above here and cashing out. It's just like going short. And then after that cashes out, you could always come in with, you can always trade 40 to 50 pips deep. There's a 1K on each 10 pip handle. So you just keep dropping a 10 pip grid every 4 hours and it stacks up. And if you do that, then you'll get the same contour as the market that's moving. So as this thing's dropping here, you'd have it look like this. Say this is your, this is like all day long ticket or something, or 2 days actually. And you've got these limits like this in front all the way down. And then you're not going to make money on that retracement till you start to fill these banks. But if they're all different, and you could have dropped this one back here on this day. So you're always going to be buying that. Like here's the decay rate of each ticket. So each ticket bank. And maybe you drop these back here, right? So it's like a 1 day or a 1 week tickets, you know. And you really could have done this setup like 3 weeks before the fill if this becomes a retracement. Just like you could have done the same thing here. You could have put in a bunch of sell limits in here and just walked away. No matter what happened there, that was always a good place to sell, even though there is a probably climax divergence here on the top. But the getting out in front of the market like this and not knowing what's going to happen is really the fun thing about trading, I think. Last I checked, it's not guaranteed where it's going, so that's the fun part about it, I suppose. The glitz and glamour of trading, trying to say, can you catch a falling knife and not blow up the account? So if I can make 10 grand with $1,000 account, if I make 9 grand then cash out and then put another 1,000 in, but then trade a little bit lighter, you know. You can always get away with being ridiculous, even if you don't know what you're doing, until a point, because at some point the police are watching. It's always one of those situations where the volatility and the size you're in just happen to come together in a way that, based on the direction it's moving for or against you, is psychologically disturbing to see your equity move that fast, that hard. Either way, up or down. That's a little upsetting, I think. But yeah, this dollar yen, I'm fascinated to see if this is going to be the big turning point on the big picture of the weeklies here. I'm just too curious. It's certainly deep discount. And we have the completion of a completely symmetrical move here, I'd say, from the closing projections for this price pulse here. That is the doji. This is the completion of that price pulse in the weekly. It's over. The question is this a breakout or a fake out? Is this going to keep tanking? I just have such a hard time believing that. And we've already been to here. If we do not take out this hole that we fell into on the weekly, yeah, this is an amazing trap right here. The scalpers have already taken their money, though. We could have got out. Our fund could have got out. The Borg fund. You remember the Borg? So it looks awkward on the 4-hour. Yeah, it looks very strange. The 1 hour makes more sense, I think, in most situations. Plus, I can see the high of the day clearly. I can see the low of the day. We're like right in fair value right now. People that are going to buy probably say, you know what, we could buy now. Better than buying at the end of the day. People are kind of chasing a little bit, maybe to the close here. This is going to be resistance, last known low we just took out in the 1 hour. Very simple trading on the 1 hour chart. I think most of the people that bought the plunge below that have scalped out. This next exit on the 1 hour chart, you know. Can they take out these wicks like a zipper? You know, I figured this will be that wedge factor. This wedge gets taken out. It's like, wow, you know, they could slice that off, or that's going to fill and then collapse back maybe 15 pips off of that. So yeah, it's it really depends. But 10 pips to me, I if the spread is 2, then it's, to me, it's not bad. It's like, if it's costing you 20% for that trade, but you're right 90% of the time, or you're going to pay for that 20%, and you're going to also put in your 50 pip stops. So you can't always scalp unless it's like maybe 1 pip spread, and you're like, okay, I know this thing's going up, and I'm literally getting out. I'm actually hitting a button that has an 8 pip stop, and I'm just going, yeah, we're going up. We're going to sweep right now. Boom, 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 boom. Into the close. Out. You're scalped. That's different than this guy was holding these positions through these wobbles. And it's like, okay, you have to sit and let it go around until you can get out. You can't, unless you're going to chase into that, because you've seen that move before and you know how long it lasts. And it's about 10 minutes, and you can hurry up and jump on and ride that. Or are you going to position yourself above it and say, I'm going to sell 15 pips above here on a limit because I don't want to hit the chase button. Or I'm going to put a buy limit 5 pips deep because I still think we could pull back a little bit. So having that this guy's actually trading at the market though, but he's already marked off the areas he's going to sell, so he already did mark that off though. So yeah, I'm just waiting for this to retrace now. The euro's coming back to life a little bit. Or I could scalp out here, take my 231 and get out. I think every ticket's a winner. Yeah, so in the long run, it looks like the dollar's going to have to lose to the yen here. We're running out of gas to the south side on the 4-hour chart. A lot of wickage too. A whole lot of confusion in here. Volume's dying. Even the volume indicator guys are like, volume dried up on that sell-off. It's not a valid sell-off. See, it's volume analysis. Yeah, it's not a real sell-off. This sure was. But this is fresh prices here causing a big spike in volume. Right here is absolutely brand new. And then here it's old hat. Nobody gives a fuck. Not a lot of people selling below that floor. Can you imagine what the headlines are? Trump's going to invade Japan. Everything's going up now. Whole lot of fighting going on here in the yen. It's caught in a box. I still think this is the easy pivot to see right here. It's a shaved candle here on the left. Yeah, it's just kind of stuck here. Just a little bit below the 50, or the right around the round number here, so 108. Looking at this last tail number here, if we were really big, this would matter. We're at 69. So as long as we're above 108.10, I say some of my orders just deleted, I think. So we just lost a little bit of risk there because some of the orders just deleted. I think it saw them jump off the platform. Yeah, I call this a psycho wobble fund. If he has a beehive fund, I want a angry wobbler. Okay, we're getting ready to leave the station here. All aboard the bull train here. A lot of people cashing out here, I suppose. That's how they like it. That's some wackadoodle YouTube stuff.